yeah, I think that's kind of everything I wanted to say. So let's just close out 40 or so seconds of heavy breakdown, and then we'll leave it there. Well, that was perfect timing. I'm really excited for this video because Northlane are probably my favourite band in the world. I think their last 3 or 4 albums have just been perfect from front to back. I think Nic Pettersen is one of the most overlooked drummers possibly ever. Northlane as a band are always overlooked, but yeah, this is a live drum cam of the song Details Matter, which is the opening track from the latest album Alien. I saw Northlane touring this album late last year, before the world stopped working, and it was an incredible show. Excuse me, if I can find the picture of me. There's a Northlane documentary about the recording process of this album, and the opening scenes were shot at the Brixton Academy in London, which was the show that I was at, and I managed to find myself in the really fast shot when they're going through the crowd and showing you where everyone is. So if I can find the picture of that, there I am. Look, that's me looking at my phone with the hat on. Yeah, I spent far too long trying to like freeze frame that particular bit. But anyway, I love this band. I love Nic as a drummer, and I love this song. I love Northlane. Here we go. Every time I hear that like riff thing, I get so excited. Here we go. What is that? I still can't work that out. That filling, like not that most recent one, but the one before it. That intro is in 4/4. In fact, I think the whole song's in 4/4. You would never know it because the snare's all over the place. I mean, it's structured, obviously, it's not mental all over the place. But yeah, it does not feel like 4/4, this song, at all. And one really interesting thing that Nic does is, on this song in particular, is he does this really interesting dynamic combination between like a ghost note and an accent on the snare that he uses in conjunction with a closed to open hi-hat. So both cymbal and snare are building in volume at the same time, and it just creates this really interesting kind of unique feeling addition to the fill-in, which is something that I've not heard many drummers do before. And I think he only does it on this song, but it sounds really good, and I think he might repeat it, so if he does, I'll point it out. But yeah, that fill-in, which again I think he repeats. So yeah, let's just keep going. It's a heavy one. I probably should have disclaimer at the start. He's doing the accent and ghost, or the ghost and accent snare here. You can hear it again. I always say this in all my videos. You should always have headphones in. Oh, he didn't do it. He did do it, I promise. He's going to do it in a second anyway. That one. so good. Just so good. So one thing I love about this section of the song, of just making sure I'm in the right place, is it's the riff, the down 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 that's been played earlier in the song. Nic plays along to that riff with like an upbeat, downbeat, interesting kind of snare pattern in the opening sections of the song when the riff is used. Now we get to the kind of traditional metalcore structure of halfway through the song and it's time for a heavy bit. So what does he do? While the riff is playing, he just snare on 3. I think it's on 3, isn't it? The snare's on 3, which creates a more bouncy feel to the song, and it allows the moshers to start moshing more easily anyway, because most people don't think in, people generally time their, like, in a live environment, you dance along and you mosh whatever to the beat of the drum, right? And if the drum beats are all over the place, like Nic tends to do, then sometimes it can be a bit harder. So he tailors the beat to this specific section of the song because he knows that this is the time when people want to move their bodies. I think I went back a bit too far, but that's fine. Oh no, it's like right now. Here we go. So you hear what I mean? The riff is the same, but instead of playing the previous pattern, he's playing a more straight up one. Too many bands. So let's talk about his setup. And then his posture as well. So it's kind of difficult to see from this camera angle, but I know through being a mega fan that Nic has 1 rack tom and then 2, I think they're both floor toms, one to the left of his left leg and one to the right of his right leg. So the slightly unorthodox one there, of course, is the floor tom on his left, but it is becoming more and more of a popular thing recently. I think what that allows him to do is he has a ton of effect symbols, like he has 2 splashes where perhaps a second rack tom would be. Again, kind of hard to tell. He's got a China on his right, a China on his left, a crash and a crash on his right and a crash on his left, and then a nice big, probably ride or maybe just a huge crash kind of down to the right above his right floor tom. And yeah, he uses them all to crazy effect, especially in kind of like the last 20 seconds or so of the song that we just heard. In fact, I'll rewind and you can see again, pay attention to the cymbal work because there's clearly a pattern. Nothing's random. It's used as a build-up piece. It's the build-up before the breakdown. And it just creates this frenetic... It creates this frenetic vibe. And yeah, you can hear the differences between the chinas and the crashes, and maybe the hi-hat as well gets chucked in a couple of times. It's just, yeah, it's this really chaotic feel, which lends itself really nicely to what's about to happen. I love Marcus Bridge, man, like the best vocalist. We didn't talk about his posture, I just realised. just rewind. Perfect. I was trying to find a spot where the lights were on the kit. So, I didn't mention this when I was talking about his equipment, so I'll just chuck it in now. His snare is angled away from him, just for more consistent rim shots. Posture. So Nic is, I believe he's quite tall. So he has a very straight back, which is good, better than mine at the moment. And he plays with quite an interesting kind of slouch to him. So I realise that's contradictory, straight back slouch, but the slouch comes from his neck. So you'll see he's quite often leant forward. He has his shoulders quite high up. And it has this kind of evil look to it. But I guess it's because he's tall and he's got long arms and, you know, he uses them with his kit that's kind of spread out in a 180 degree, you know, angle in front of him. But yeah, his back's nice and straight, but his neck has this kind of hunch and then his arms are just, yeah. It's an interesting posture. It doesn't look comfortable, but I guess it clearly works for him. And he doesn't sit all that close. I think there's kind of a trend with drummers that's popping up a little bit recently, perhaps in part thanks to Jay Weinberg, where drummers are kind of like sat over their kits, you know, they're like as close as possible. And to be honest, I quite like that as well. I quite like being up close and personal with the kit. But Nic's got kind of a more laid back approach to it. As I say, everything's kind of spread around him. Or not around him, rather. It's spread in front of him. He hasn't really got... I mean, you could argue that this near side floor tom, near side to the camera, so on his left, is kind of behind him. It's not really. But yeah, it's just interesting that he has everything in front rather than surrounding, which is a different way. This is a fairly large kit, and we've seen with like Achilles Priesta that sometimes large kits can just become all encompassing. But Nic's is, yeah, it's just kind of all in front of him at this 180 degree angle. And yeah, I think that's kind of everything I wanted to say. So let's just close out 40 or so seconds of heavy breakdown, and then we'll leave it there. Well, that was perfect timing. Not gonna lie, I was trying to work out what this... Is it in 7? What is it? Oh, it's in 6. Okay. So I lied to you at the start. The whole song's not in 4. This ending section is 6. It's just so cool. I honestly think he's up there with, like, in terms of creative metalcore or whatever you want to call them, drummers. The guy from Silent Planet does some really tasty stuff. Matt Greiner, who I've showcased before, has always been one of like the pack leaders when it comes to creative metalcore drumming. Luke Holland, obviously, and I'm missing people. Actually, yeah, go ahead, comment, tell me who else in just like straight ahead metalcore. I think maybe Luke would take umbrage with me lumping him in there, but hopefully not. It's meant to be complimentary, I'm saying that he's one of the best, which he is. And so is Nic. So thanks for watching. Leave some suggestions in the comments for other drummers that you want me to check out. I hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, Northlane forever. I don't know. I love that band. Ruined that ending.